How moody are elephants, and how do you tell what mood they are in? Elephants can be moody, depending on where they come from. And when I say that, some elephants are resident. Like for example, our females here who are resident are so used to us, and they're not at all moody in any way. But some elephants are coming outside the packs, can be seen very moody sometimes when they're trying to say, "Don't get close to me." And they have to protect themselves. They have to be very careful. And therefore, when they're coming into the pack, they have to act in this mood where they don't trust. So that way you can tell they're moody. Must bulls are very moody. Where they're sexually active and they're looking for females, they're quite moody. They have to be putting themselves in this very defensive mood where they have to push everything out of their way because they have a mission to look for females. So elephants can be moody depending on how you look at them. But these guys are not moody. She's right next to us. But there were other females that I was seeing them who were running away from us. But these guys, no.
What is the average age that an elephant becomes a parent? Yeah, very interesting question. So in Samburu, females usually give birth to the first calf when they're about 11 years old. Female elephants can be as young as 8 and 9 years old at the first birth, or they can be as old as 19, 20 years old. So it's very variable among different elephants. For males, that's a different question because, the calf stays with the mother, so we know who the mother is in most cases. For males, the male doesn't provide any parental care to the calf, so it's very difficult to assign paternity to a calf unless we do specialized genetic studies. These were done earlier on in Samburu and in other places in Africa. So we know that males probably are sexually mature, so they are physiologically capable of mating and breeding when they are in the early teens. The problem is access to mates for male elephants is governed by dominance hierarchy. And since males keep growing for most of their lives and maybe throughout their entire life, it means that older bulls are bigger and they generally are also higher ranking in the dominance hierarchy. And that means that they are the ones that reproduce most. Also, another important determinant of how early males can mate is the mast cycle. So males go into mast, it is this surge of testosterone that drives mating behavior and competitive, aggressive behavior. Compared to the lifespan of an elephant, female can get pregnant really young. Males usually are restricted in their first mating, so in the first time they father a calf, by this complex male system of dominance, mast, and other social interactions. Do elephants stay with one mate or they have several? Yes, elephants are not monogamous, so they don't form pairs for life. They have several mates, and actually one male will try and mate with several females, but the female over her lifetime will also mate with several different males. And very interestingly, access to mates for males is governed by dominance hierarchy. So the older, bigger bulls and the bulls in mast get access to mates by excluding younger males from mating. And you can see that because, in technical terms, there's a very high sexual dimorphism. That means that the male is much larger than the female, he's got bigger tusks, he's got a different shape of the head. And all this tells us that there is a strong selection on males for competition for mating opportunities, so for access to females.
When adolescent males leave their herd, do their mothers push them out at a specific time, or do they naturally hook up with other males? I think I would say it's both. Some young males don't really like leaving their mother, as you can actually think about, because leaving your family is so disadvantageous. But then they find themselves awkward, like a big male sitting in a family of just female. So naturally, they just see themselves, playing with other males or getting interested with other different females and just naturally leave. They all have different personalities. Some matriarchs just say, okay, boy, it's time to leave. Sometimes they get pushed a little bit, not terribly hard, but they don't leave just gradually. They gently leave, and they come back, and they leave and they come back until they just find themselves that they're too far from their family and they're gone. So it's like a very soft process to some. but some of them are not too soft because they all have different personalities.